Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Don't you like it when there's a plan and you have a schedule? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. But at least I'd like to know when this war in Ukraine will be ending, if ever. I mean, it can't go, perpetual war over there like in Orwell's 1984 novel, right? But the Russians are giving us some hints. Now, some of the hints could be based on the nuclear weapons, and some other hints could be based on conventional weapons. So let's see what we got in this article. This article comes from Reuters, and this is what Kremlin says. Kremlin says that military campaign in Ukraine to continue at least until capture of all of Donetsk region. So the key words are at least, of all of Donetsk. So at least, that means after they conquer or capture Donetsk, it's not over. That reminds me of what was that? Rambo 1. Sylvester Stallone at the end, when his general or whoever trained him came and told him it's over. And he says, it's never over. So here it's never over. It's not over. We're going to get to Donetsk, and then we're going to keep going until we get to the Atlantic Ocean. I don't think so. The Kremlin said on Wednesday its special military operation in Ukraine must continue at least until the capture of all of East Ukraine's Donetsk region. In a call with reporters, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov noted that the self-styled Donetsk People's Republic DPR, a breakaway Russian-backed entity that has... it's very interesting how these guys are changing the words here, see? So now it's a self-styled, a breakaway Russian-backed entity that has been fighting Ukraine forces since 2014, controls only part of the wider territory which it claims. So the key word, it claims. And I'm quoting, therefore, it is necessary as a minimum to liberate the entire territory of the DPR, Donetsk People's Republic. He said, at the minimum. Oh my, you got big plans, Mr. Peskov. Russia has framed its military campaign in Ukraine as necessary to protect Russian speakers in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region, of which Donetsk makes up half, from quote-unquote genocide by Ukraine. Both Kiev and Western countries said this is a fig leaf for an imperial-style land grab. Though Russia already controls almost all of Luhansk region, the other half of the Donbas, it holds only around 60% of Donetsk region. The Moscow-backed entitled entities in Donetsk and Luhansk, alongside two other Russian-occupied regions in southern Ukraine, are seeking to become part of Russia after they completed on Tuesday what Kiev and Wednesday government described as shame referendums on joining Russia. They did. They said, yes, we want, and Putin, it seems like tomorrow, on the 30th, is going to get his sleeves up like this, and he's going to be signing a document. He's going to have a nice speech that a lot of people will hate and some other people will love. I hope no bomb is going to fall on top of Putin while he has this little speech in, I think it's going to be in Duma, in the Duma, State Duma. So, at least that. Well, maybe they found more Russians over there and the other side of Donetsk. So what can I say? It's always the I don't know if that's really what's going to be. Even Putin said, yes, we're going to continue until we reach that, we complete the whole liberation. But on the other hand, they said at least. So if that's at least, what's the other extreme? You know what I mean? This is minimum. What's the maximum? Well, as a territory for occupation of a territory or land grab, as these guys say, that's the minimum. But what if the Ukrainians will receive? I guarantee you that if they're still in the area, they will receive longer range missile systems from the Americans, because they already said we're going to do that. So everything is on the table. That means tank, airplanes, and whatever longer range. Now, if that happens, the Russians said that they have to put a territory, like a buffer zone, between their territory and push Ukraine as far west as it's necessary, so those missiles could not reach supposedly the Russian territory. I think they need to go like, I don't know, 500 miles. They're gonna get to Poland or something and pass over Poland. So I don't know how I don't know how this thing is going to end up. They're gonna get a territory. I don't think they're gonna go over and claim more than they did. I would say maybe 10%. I would say that they would go beyond what they said initially they would go. They probably would go, but will not claim it as Russia. Will say that's a buffer zone right here, and there's going to be a little scuffle at the border, and the territory here is going to be with people. I don't know, just other than that, okay, let's say you liberate, or you occupied, however you want to look at it, your portions that you said you want, the 4 regions, blah, 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 2 LDP and DPR, or DPR, LPR, and the other 2 Zaporozhye and whatever, is just, you need to change the regime then, because those guys will say, okay, we'll keep on fighting. And one of the 4 points was denazification and demilitarization of Ukraine. How do you accomplish that if those guys are still going to fight? How do you make them stop fighting? How would you convince the West to not pump money that for them is good? All this is good. They are just now with gas and oil and all that. The United States is good. It's okay. The Europeans, I'm talking, they will adjust. They will drop a little bit in their lifestyles and standards of living. But then you're going to have the banks who are going to make money. We're going to have the energy sector. Those are going to have money. And the military-industrial complex will have tons of money that's going to supply Ukraine. And the Americans are going to be testing their military equipment. The Russians will test theirs. And that's the way it goes. And not only Americans, they will allow the other weasels in Europe, NATO country, to test there, like the French and Great Britain and other little German things. Of course, if they don't sell everything, if they don't give everything to Israel. I'm talking about the Germans, because that's what they do. They gave submarines, I think something about atomic submarines. They get the technology and they built for Israel. Anyway, it's like an appendix over there or something. So, at least to liberate that. Okay, we'll see what's the other side of the coin. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.